Tension reminds me of the field days of my youth, our tug-of-war matches, and the heavy, twisted rope at the center of it all. At the end of this time-honored event, each class stood on either side of a long, rugged rope, awaiting a turn to prove their strength. After strategically placing ourselves in positions of power, we grabbed the rope and asserted our stances. Once the whistle blew, we strove to move the middle marker past the center line, assuming possession of the rope. When the tension in the rope fell away, we felt like we had conquered the world. I can still hear the victorious screams of my classmates. Conversely, losing the grip meant feeling the pain from the opposing team's cheers, punctuated by my rope-burned hands. Perhaps the sting of rope burn still lingered in my memory, but I believe tension was something to avoid in my early adult years. Our family encountered our fair share of challenges and power struggles at the time. I wanted our home to be calm and free from conflict. To keep the peace, I adopted a popular metaphor: don't pick up the rope. Time and again, when dealing with discord, I'd repeat this mantra: don't pick up the rope. Sometimes I was a master at employing this strategy. Other times, when I enacted this approach, or not, our tension drove us into conflict. I don't utilize the rope mantra nearly as much as I did in my early years, and honestly, I hadn't given it much thought until a recent visit to Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's memorial in Washington, D.C. There, I read his inspirational words etched in stone. True peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice. These words resonated with me and prompted deeper reflection on my choice to engage or steer clear from modern-day tug-of-war. Intrigued, I researched the origin of the message and discovered MLK was a fierce proponent of constructive nonviolent tension. In Dr. King's letter from a Birmingham jail, he states, "But I must confess that I am not afraid of the word tension. I have earnestly opposed violent tension, but there is a type of constructive, nonviolent tension which is necessary for growth." Just as Socrates felt that it was necessary to create a tension in the mind so that individuals could rise from the bondage of myths and half-truths to the unfettered realm of creative analysis and objective appraisal, so must we see the need for nonviolent gadflies to create the kind of tension in society that will help men rise from the dark depths of prejudice and racism to the majestic heights of understanding and brotherhood. Dr. King deemed tension necessary for growth and a pathway for negotiating more than just outcomes. When revisiting Dr. King's teachings, I notice how my thoughts around tension have shifted away from my childlike perception of tug-of-war on field day. There is a winner and a loser. There is triumph and there is pain. I've come to realize how tug-of-war and tension are far more complex. Tension is a vehicle to change. When we allow ourselves to use its power, it can move us toward what is good and right. Our family is older and hopefully wiser now, yet we encounter disagreements and strife. What's changed is I am far more comfortable with conflict and engaging in tension. I often tell folks how, in our house, we do conflict, and we figured out how to deal with conflict with respect and dignity. It serves us well, and with every struggle, we grow. We can't always circumvent the pain that accompanies the growth process, but we always don't intentionally inflict it on one another. And we try to remember that we're actually on the same side as we push and pull in an attempt to find justice for the challenge at hand. What's most important is being true to our integrity, and although that can feel bumpy and less than calm, we typically discover we're better versions of ourselves in the end, and that, my friends, is like a victory on field day. Be well.